Just finished up setting up the next scenario on the Guderian's Blitzkrieg 2 that I was interested in as a follow-up to the first scenario that recorded earlier. So this one is this kind of the counterpart to the Guderian's Blitzkrieg, the 5.2, which I completed just last week. This one is entitled The Northern Pincers, and so it's maps B and E that is in the same time frame from the 1st of October through the 15th of November. And the only note, the scenario setup did take me considerably longer, as did the last one, because I abide by the actual unit designations. So in other words, when it asks for a specific infantry division, instead of just taking a unit of the same value, I actually went and located the division that it looked for. Call it a stickler for detail, but it definitely adds time to the setup. Setup took an extremely long period of time just for this. I would call it a mid-size scenario. But maybe in the future, just to save time and to jump into the gaming, I won't spend as much time looking up the specific unit, but just use a proxy of the same value. Kind of hard to do on the multi-unit formations, though, because you have to make sure they're all the same color band. And I don't think there's an opportunity there, but maybe in the infantry units and some of the different non-multi-unit formation setup. But that's just one thing to note. The other thing to note is just as we get things set up, the Soviet set up first. And so this map, it does make it more intriguing because we, start with Tula and we actually get up into the Moscow area itself, which I was surprised at just the overall situation. I thought there'd be more Soviet units standing in the way of Operation Typhoon in Moscow, but you have to realize this is October of 1941, and the Russians have just been taking blow after blow. I mean, they just, the Kiev encirclement captured, I want to say 750,000 men. And then the panzer groups from Army Group Center repositioned themselves and started this drive on Moscow in an amazingly short amount of time. But again, just as that last scenario, we're going to be fighting with the weather and supply limitations almost right out of the gate. So just looking at that, encirclement from the Germans' perspective is going to be the name of the game. Having some type of plan to do encircling instead of trying to hammer straight through some of these defenses. And you can see here the 40th Panzer Corps along with the 12th Corps, and then the 46th Panzer Corps with the 7th Corps. All of these are in the area of the 4th Panzer Group, which is HQ'd out of Roslav. I could see that we're going to have to do some type of encirclement, maybe Spa Demyansk, or some kind of encirclement will be the name of the game. And because there's just infantry kind of pocketed up against this strong point, which obviously will not be a thrust through the Yelna area. And same likewise with this area, which is the obvious approach to Moscow with a double rail, most direct route. But obviously there's hedgehogs, some improved defenses there that the Russians have with some backup. But I could see, how would we exploit that with, the 3rd Panzer Group. What drives would be most likely to encircle and meet up, and it's going to be more difficult through there, it looks like. But as the German player, that's what my goal will be, is to try and exploit those opportunities right out of the gate. The other thing of note during the setup, on the last scenario, I realized I had the rail capacity wrong. I think I had 2 for the Germans and 4 or 6 for the Soviets. It's actually, you have to include the Schwerpunkt and the main area of focus. So it'll take, and then when you divide that in half, you round up for this area of the offensive for Typhoon. We rounded down on the last scenario played, but this one you round up. So the German rail cap will be 5, the Soviet will be 6. May not sound like much, but try and do rail supplies forward, supply points. I could see that having a big impact, but just kind of wanted to go through my general thoughts on the initial setup, and we'll just dive into this and give an update as we go.